Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? Cub here and welcome back to our Tekkit classic,
Redux.
Let's Play Adventure. And before we get started, I'd like to apologize real quick for my behavior in the last episode. I was a bit scatterbrained, but I have been cooled down and I'm ready to continue. So, I did a little bit of mining to get some extra resources. I've already processed quite a few of them. I don't think we have everything we'll need moved for the episode, but oh no, the macerator has stopped. Look at that, we've run out of power. Now, we don't have much coal left. I did mine up a bit more, but fortunately today we're going to be looking at some alternative power, starting with this little guy here, the water mill. Now, we're going to need some cobblestone because we're going to have to make a furnace and in fact, we might as well go ahead and make them all now. We have to have 1, 2, 3 of these. We're going to need 3 generators, and the generator is going to be the base of everything we build here today, including the water mill. And by the way, this gives us 2 of them, which is good because there's 2 different ways to use it. So we're going to get the 3 of these. I've got a bit of refined iron here. We're going to need 2 more of our machine blocks. You may remember I accidentally created one in either the last episode or the episode before that. Now we've got plenty. Next up, we need to combine all of these together with a re-battery. Now, re-batteries are a straightforward recipe. My only concern is, do we have enough resources? And let me go ahead and just really quickly confirm the re-battery recipe before I get too carried away. The re-battery, that's Reba. Not even close. Re-battery. That's the one we're looking for right there. Yep, tin, redstone, and a copper cable. We're gonna need, we might need a bit more. Well, we have plenty of copper, so again, we'll throw the copper in there, and then we'll get some tin. Awesome. Perfectly good trade. Although, saying that, we could probably use a bit more tin. Oh, wait, is tin more than copper? Oh my. Tin is certainly more than copper. That is... Alright, well, we've got plenty now. We've got as much as we need, at least, to make our 3 re-batteries. So we'll get them. I do not... Oh, they do stack. Look at that. I learned something new every time that I play this, and that's what I like so much about Tekkit, is the learning experience. Good times. Generators stack as well. Alright, well, we've got our 3 generators. Next up, we need to build the water mill, and fortunately, even though it's no longer up in our NEI, I think I can remember the recipe pretty closely. Maybe I'm off on a couple of points, but there we go. We've got our 2 water mills. And while we're here, we might as well, since we're on a roll, go ahead and create our other items. So the next one we're going to build is called a windmill. This one's pretty useful. You can probably imagine how it operates, and the recipe could not be simpler. Put your generator there, put some iron around it like so. Windmill. Cool. Alright. And the last, and certainly not least, is going to be the solar panel. And this is the most expensive of the bunch. It requires a few different components. The best thing about this one, though, is it does not consume anything. It doesn't need to consume anything to operate, and it produces a pretty good bit of power. We're going to need some glass, some coal dust, and an electronic circuit. 2 of them, actually. So we'll get the bit of the coal we have left. We will throw it into our macerator. Sorry, tin. We're going to need to macerate up some coal dust. We're also going to need to find some glass. We've got 2 pieces. We only got 6 pieces of sand left, but fortunately, I think we can probably manage to get a few more. And we'll go ahead and get that started. More glass, the better. The merrier, you could almost say. And glass itself, hold the phone, has an EMC value, obviously. I should have thought about that. And it's only 1, so we can get a pretty awesome, a whole stack of it, a pretty stack. And after that, how about coal dust? Coal dust does not have an EMC value, so we will be waiting on it to finish. And we're going to need 2 more pieces. While we wait on that, we might as well go ahead and create the 2 electronic circuits we're going to need for this build. And from memory, ta-da! Electronic circuits! I did it, and I am proud. I cannot wait to tell my mother. How are we doing up here? We've got 1 more. The last one's on the way. The final thing we're going to have to do, and this is to test off the water mill, is we're going to need to get a bit more water. And to be honest with you, we probably should have created us an endless pool a while back. Let's go ahead and do that now. We'll grab a bit of water from here. Okay, we're going to have to carry it way back up to our half house, which is what I'm affectionately calling this terrible monstrosity that I've constructed. We're going to probably do this right here, even though we're eventually going to expand the house this direction. That is correct. I did finally decide that that would be the best course of action, because, I mean, otherwise, just look at this. It's hideous. All right, we'll fill this in. I'm going to make a 3x3, so 9 total blocks of water. Not necessary. You don't have to do it that big, but for what I'm going to do, I think that's probably our best bet. I think it'll work very well for us. And if you want to make it smaller and you want to experiment with that, you know what? Go right ahead, because this is Tekkit. You can do whatever you want to. You're completely free to expand your mind and try new things, experiment, and have a good time, unless you do it wrong and things blow up, in which case, you wish you'd listen to me. Fortunately, I don't think anything can blow up with this particular one. So, we've got the water mill. Now, this will generate power in one of two ways. We want to be careful where we place it down, because again, this particular little guy here has been known to, how you say, blow up? Not blow up, I'm sorry. It will, however, fall apart if you try to break it with anything other than a wrench. We'll place it right on top of our bat box here, and you'll notice I placed it on top on one of the clear corners. If we cut out the side here of the house real quick, which we're gonna have to do anyway, you'll notice that the sides are all different. We don't want to put it on a green side, because that is our output. Now, one of the ways we can produce power with this is by just chunking some water in it. So I'll get some water here out of our infinite pool, head back upstairs, making sure we keep this door shut, keep out the monsters, right click, put the bucket here, and as you can see, it's got a bit of water, and it'll start generating a little bit of power, which will start going into the bat box. Now, the generator is empty, and as you can see, this is draining energy. However, you'll notice if you watch it, occasionally it jumps back up. That's because this guy here is producing us some water, but that goes by really, really quickly. Your alternative is to place, we need to take a nap, is to place this in the water, and that'll start generating power as well, passively, but not nearly as much. It produces way, way less power. And in order to make that effective, you would have to have a lot of them. That being said, it does kind of work. We'll have to connect that up there with some more cables. Copper cables aren't really the best for running long distances, but in this case, it won't hurt us. We can go ahead and do it, and we might have to test out different cables in the future. And in fact, I think for this particular machine, because it produces so little energy, our best bet would actually be to use tin cables. But if we take a look in here, this now is we're only losing power. So if you connect it up, we'll be able to see that maybe every so often it kind of jumps up a bit. No, not even. And that's because this thing is using up more power than we're producing. If I can get in there and access the inventory, though. Come on now. Come on. No, we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to go inside. I tried, folks. You did see I did put an effort into that. Are you done? You're done. So this should now theoretically start filling up, but it's not. It's not filling up at all. Maybe it has to be connected from the side? I mean, that makes no sense. Alright, I think we might need to bury it underwater in order to get it to work. The problem with that's going to be we're going to have to break it first, and in order to do that, we're going to have some copper and some tin dust. So we'll go ahead and throw the tin dust in there, and I think we only need one tin dust. Well, we're going to need more than that, but we're going to need some more copper dust as well. I think you do them like so, and then you put that there, and that's going to give us our bronze dust. Okay, good. I'm not sure how much of this we need, but not much. We'll go ahead and take 12, which will be more than enough. We will go ahead and toss one in here in case we need some later. We will throw the rest of it into our electric furnace, and that'll blend us up. You know what? We only need one in there now that I think about it, because that'll give us a bar, which does have an EMC value, and then we can transfer the 255 EMC in the bronze dust to get bronze blocks, or ingots, whatever you want to call them. We can put that into the shape of a wrench, and water beam, water boom. We can now step outside here, right-click this guy, and we'll wrench it up. Good deal. So we're going to go ahead and dig this a little bit deeper, and I guess we'll do 3 by 3 by 3. So we'll have water on all sides. I want to stress again, this is theoretical. Not entirely sure what the problem may be here, but we're going to try this. We're going to place our water mill under the water. It'll have water on all sides except for the cable on the top. Cannot stand being underwater. Let's head inside and see if that's made any change. Now, I should tell you, at the most, this isn't going to produce a lot of power. And in fact, it's not producing any power. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try creating some ultra-low current cables. These will hold up to 5 EU per tick. And the best thing about them is they can go further with less energy drop compared to the copper cables. Now again, they don't take a whole lot of energy. We're only going to be pumping less than 1 EU per tick through them. But my theory here is that maybe because it's such a small amount of energy, it's being lost running through these copper cables. So we're just going to try it with tin and see where that gets us. If we can get down here. Excellent. Get me back out. Good. grief. Okay. And, well, here's hoping. And there we go. Look at that. It is working. So, copper cables have too much energy loss to carry the little bit of current we're getting from the water mill up here. You need to keep that in mind. Now, this thing will produce, like this in an unmanned state, a maximum of, I believe, 0.25 EUs per tick. So 1/4 of an EU per tick. And you have to have it surrounded by water in order to get that. Obviously, you can't put water on the top because you have to have a cable coming out of it. Versus here, where if you put a bucket of water in there, it'll produce 1 EU per tick, but you have to constantly put buckets of water in there. We can't upgrade it if we take a look at the water strainer, where you can pump water into it, which is really cool. That's a little bit more advanced, though, and we'll have to come back to that another day. But we now have 2 different devices to produce energy. The next one we're going to look at, and again, I think more copper cables are going to be needed here, because we need to get the windmill pretty high up into the air. And the thing about the windmill, well, it doesn't produce that much energy, so you can use tin cables to carry the current down, and you'll be just fine. It's not that big a problem. I think we'll go ahead and we'll do that. We're going to need more tin, though. Not nearly enough. Well, okay, that'll give us 18 ultra-low current cables. Really, though, you want to go higher than that. With the windmill, you kind of want to get it up to about at least 80, if not higher. And in fact, I haven't really looked at the numbers, but I think 80 to 100 is kind of your ideal. We're going to hop on up there, though, now that we're looking at, and again, this is the windmill. We're going to hop on up there, and we're going to build this thing up as high as we can and see what we can do. Now, you will notice as we jump and right-click higher and higher, the wind gets louder. It's exactly what we want. So we're going to place our windmill here on the side, which not generally recommended. You kind of want to put them on the top, but if it was on top, it'd be running up against this here, and we don't want that. So there you can see we're getting a little bit of wind. Not a whole lot, though, but enough. Enough for now. We don't have enough materials to create cables to put it up any higher, but if we just come back down here, we will go ahead and we will disconnect the water mill so that you guys can get an idea of how much energy that is creating. So we'll disconnect our tin cable. It's doing a pretty good job. Very happy about that, and we can have them both ran in there together because the water mill and the air windmill together will not max out this single cable here and burn it up. And don't worry, if it does, it'll just burn up the cable. Nothing will blow up or nothing bad will happen. So that's pretty good. The last one we're going to look at, and I cannot stress this enough, don't even try to do it with a tin cable. Well, maybe you could. In fact, now that I think about it, solar panels only produce 1 EU per tick. At least the lowest tier ones do. So we could totally just... I mean, I'm trying to think, but I'm almost positive that would be acceptable. Yeah, okay, let's give it a try. Now, what were we here for? Right, we've already got our coal dust. So we'll put that in there with the glass. Bit of coal dust. A generator, our 2 electronic circuits. Get our solar panel. And we're going to hook this one up without anything else attached so you can see, and hopefully before the sun sets, how good it is. Let's put it up on the roof. Let's do that because that might be probably the best place for it. Okay, well that's just happened. Let's all just pretend like that didn't happen. We'll break this cable here, and we will place down our solar panel right up here on top of the roof. And you know what might be good is if we sort of integrated it right into the roof, so it just kind of sat right there. Yeah, okay, I dig it. I can dig it. Now it's going to get late, and this thing is going to stop working, but maybe we have enough sunlight right now to go ahead and test it. Yep, there you go. And I did keep it disconnected from the... No, let's go ahead and disconnect that. And there you go. Your 1 EU per tick. Let's take a bed nap. Nappy poo. There we go. And not a moment too soon, because to be honest with you, I was getting tired. Let's hop back up there, see if it's doing any better in the morning. Yes, much better in the morning. There's your 1 EU per tick. Looking pretty good. And if we combine them all together, we should be doing okay. Now, we're not going to be able to keep it running non-stop without having some more of one of these devices, either some more windmills, some more water mills, some more solar panels, or maybe just some more of everything. But we do, of course, have the generator to burn fuel if we absolutely need to. This is... Oh, look at that. I can climb up in the same... Oh, that happened. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. It's all fine. It's just created a ring of my stuff around here. Just go collect that. I'm sure no one's going to be upset about that or getting... I hope no one gets in trouble for it. I haven't died before. I don't know what happens if I die. Wasn't in the training. With this cable, I combine all the cables. I combine all the machines together. They're all running along this cable. If we take a look inside, we should be producing a pretty decent amount of energy now. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm satisfied. That's solar energy, that's wind energy, that is some water energy, and we're doing a pretty decent job. Now, I do want to stress once more, if I toss this in here, I think it's going to draw more power than we can keep up with. You can see it's a little bit more. It tries to jump back up, but it is in a downward spiral, if you will. However, we just throw some coal in here if worse comes to worse, and we'll get by just fine. Don't really need all of these cooked up. Well, I only put one in there, so I guess we're good. Now, we'll look at some other energy things, and I've got some... Well, actually, next episode, I got something else planned. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. Until then, thank you folks so much for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later. Bye!